The desert is not empty. Most people who have never lived in one think it is. They imagine silence and sand and nothing. But the desert is full of heat that rises from the ground in waves you can see, full of small sounds, the crack of rock expanding in the sun, the dry whisper of a lizard crossing stone, the distant complaint of a bird you never see. You have lived in this desert for 40 years. You know its sounds the way you once knew the sounds of a palace. And today, for the first time in 40 years, you hear something that does not belong. Fire. Not unusual. Lightning strikes dry brush in the Sinai all the time. You have seen it 100 times. A flash, a flame, a column of smoke, and then ash. It takes less than 2 minutes. You have learned not to run toward it. There is nothing to save and nothing to gain. But you stop walking. You stop because something is wrong, and your body understood it before your mind did. The bush is burning. You can see the flames clearly from here, orange and white, and moving the way fire always moves, hungry and restless. But the bush is not burning down. You have been watching for 3 minutes now. 4, 5. The flames are real. You can feel the heat from where you are standing. You can hear the sound, the low, steady crackle of wood catching. But the leaves are still green, every branch still whole. The fire is in it, and through it, and around it, and the bush simply does not care. You take one step toward it, then another. The ground under your feet is the same ground you have walked every day for 4 decades. Cracked earth, dust, scattered rock. Your sandals know this ground, but something has changed about it. You feel it through the leather. A weight, a presence. As if the ordinary ground has become something it was not before. Something that requires more attention than you have been giving it. You stop. You look down at your feet. And then, without fully understanding why, you reach down and remove your sandals. Both of them. You set them aside on the ground. You stand barefoot in the desert, in front of a burning bush that will not burn. And you wait. The voice comes from inside the fire, not from the sky, not from behind you, from the fire itself, from the center of the burning that should not be burning. And it says your name, not the Egyptian name they gave you in the palace, not the name the Hebrews use when they talk about the fugitive who killed an overseer and ran away. Your name, the one your mother whispered to you before she let the basket go on the river, the one only God would know. Moses, Moses, you cover your face, not because you were told to, because your body does it before you decide to, because something in you understands that you are standing in a place where human eyes were not designed to look. The heat you felt before was the fire. The heat you feel now is something else entirely. It is not painful. It is the heat of being completely known. Every year in Midian, every day tending sheep on this mountain, every night lying awake thinking about Egypt, about the man you killed, about the people you left behind in slavery while you built a quiet life in the desert. Every prayer you said, and then doubted. Every time you told yourself that whatever God was doing with Israel, He was doing it without you. All of it known. All of it seen. You are not hiding from anything in this moment. You cannot hide. The fire burned away every shadow you brought with you. And then God speaks. Not your name this time. A mission. I have seen the misery of my people in Egypt. I have heard them crying out because of their slave drivers, and I am concerned about their suffering. So I have come down to rescue them, and to bring them out of that land, into a good and spacious land. And now the cry of the Israelites has reached me, and I have seen the way the Egyptians are oppressing them. So now go. I am sending you to Pharaoh to bring my people, the Israelites, out of Egypt. You are 80 years old. You spent the first 40 years of your life being trained to lead a nation, and the last 40 years forgetting all of it. You have a stutter. You have a warrant for your arrest in the most powerful nation on earth. You have a wife and a father-in-law and sheep. You have built something small and quiet and survivable here, And you have made peace with the fact that it is small and quiet and survivable. And God just looked at all of that and said, go anyway. Who am I, you ask? Who am I that I should go to Pharaoh and bring the Israelites out of Egypt? And God does not answer the question. God does not give you a resume or a list of qualifications or a detailed explanation of why you are the right person for this particular task. God answers a different question. The question underneath your question. The one you were really asking. The one that sounds like who am I? But means what if I fail? What if I am not enough? What if I go and nothing changes except that more people suffer because of my failure? What if the 40 years I spent running from myself did permanent damage that cannot be undone? God says, I will be with you. Not you are qualified. Not you are strong enough. Not you have what it takes. I will be with you. The reassurance is not about you at all. It is about the one who is sending you. And this is the thing that will take you the rest of your life to fully understand that the mission was never about Moses. It was never about his eloquence, or his connections, or his past training, or his present failures. It was about a God who had made a promise to Abraham 400 years before this moment, and who had been patiently, methodically, at enormous cost to the people involved, keeping that promise through every generation, regardless of what any individual man did or failed to do. You are not the hero of this story. You are the servant of the one who is, but you are not ready to understand that yet. What if they do not believe me, you say? What if they do not listen? What if they say the Lord did not appear to you? God shows you signs. A staff that becomes a serpent and returns to a staff. A hand that becomes leprous and becomes clean again. Water from the Nile that turns to blood on dry ground. Signs for the people. Signs for Pharaoh. Evidence that the one sending you is not a minor deity of a desert tribe, but the God who made the Nile and the stone and the serpent and the hand and every living thing in Egypt. And still you are not done. Please, Lord, you say, I have never been eloquent, not in the past, and not since you have spoken to me. I am slow of speech and slow of tongue, slow of speech. You have carried this since you were a child. In the palace they overlooked it because of your position. Among the Hebrews they noticed it and remembered it. In Midian it did not matter because you were only talking to sheep and to your small family and to the God you prayed to in the dark. But to stand before Pharaoh, to speak to a nation of enslaved people who need a reason to believe that rescue is coming, to be the voice of God in a world that does not believe in your God, with a tongue that does not cooperate with what you are trying to say. Who gave human beings their mouths, God says? Who makes them deaf or mute? Who gives them sight or makes them blind? Is it not I, the Lord? Now go. I will help you speak, and I will teach you what to say. And you ask one more time, please, Lord, send someone else. There is a pause. Not a comfortable one. The fire is still burning. The ground is still holy. You are still barefoot in the desert with your face covered and your shoes 6 feet behind you. And God is angry. Not the cold anger of rejection, the hot anger of love that is being refused. The anger of a parent watching a child refuse to believe they are capable of something the parent can already see clearly. God does not send someone else. God gives you Aaron, your brother, who is already on his way to meet you. Aaron will speak. You will tell Aaron what to say, and the staff in your hand will become the instrument of everything that follows. You pick up the staff. You put your sandals back on. You stand up. You are 80 years old, and you are about to walk back to your father-in-law and tell him you are leaving for Egypt. You are going to face the most powerful ruler on earth with a stick and a stutter and a brother, and a God who just told you he would be with you. By every human measure, this is absurd. By every human measure, you are the wrong person at the wrong time with the wrong tools for the wrong assignment. But the bush is still burning behind you, still not consumed, still impossible, still on fire with something that does not need fuel. And you are beginning to understand that this is what you will look like to everyone watching from the outside for the rest of your life. A man on fire with something he cannot explain. A man burning and not burning down. Terrifying to the powerful, inexplicable to the reasonable, and completely, permanently, unable to be extinguished, because the one who lit the fire intends to keep it burning. And now this is what you need to hear today. You came to this story because something in your life is asking the same question you asked at the bush. Who am I? Not the theological version, the personal one. The one you ask at 3 in the morning when the thing God seems to be asking of you feels completely beyond what you have to offer. The one you ask when you look at your past and see all the ways you disqualified yourself before anyone else got the chance. The one you ask when the task is real and the calling is clear, and you are still standing there with your shoes in your hand, saying, please send someone else. God is not looking for someone else. God has been watching your 40 years in the desert. God knows about the palace and the failure and the running and the quiet life you built out of what was left. God knows about the stutter and the warrant and the age and the fear. God looked at all of it, every part, the parts you are proud of and the parts you have buried in sand, hoping no one finds them. God looked at all of it and said, go. Not because you are enough, because I am enough, and I am going with you. The ground under your feet right now is holy ground, not because of where you are standing, because of who is standing there with you. Take off your sandals. You are not as alone as you think.